Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an Insight. Episode 216. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, in the previous episode, we heard that a stray dog was chased by the villagers and it ran inside Dwarakamai to take refuge at the holy feet of Sri Sai Maharaj. At this juncture, Dr. Pillai was seated to the right side of Sri Sai Maharaj while Shamrao Jaikar to the left. No other devotees were present. This dog had rabies and bit many of the villagers, so they were determined to kill it. Hence chased it with staff and rocks in their hand. The dog went and stood behind Sri Sai Maharaj. Dr. Pillai and Shamrao Jaikar were very nervous and bit scared if the dog would bite them, whereas Sri Sai Maharaj was lovingly patting the dog's head. What an astounding incident! The mad dog with 5 senses was sure that it can be safe if it would take refuge at the divine feet of Sri Sai Maharaj. Chasing the dog, the villagers came to Dwarakamai and spoke to Sri Sai thus: Baba, the dog has rabies. It might bite. Hence, chase it outside. We want to thrash it to death. Sri Sai Maharaj got enraged and said, Have you all gone mad? You want to kill this poor creature? All of you go from here and mind your own business. It will not do any harm to others. None could vocalize any statement in opposition to Sri Sai Baba. They quietly moved away. After the villagers dispersed, the dog gave a thankful glance at Sri Sai Maharaj and walked out quietly. As the dog was being compassionately patted by Sri Sai Maharaj, from then the dog never bit anyone in Shirdi. The dog also got healed by the divine touch of Sri Sai Baba and its wildness lowered. While quoting this stunning Leela, Dr. Pillai mentions, when the dog entered the masjid, we panicked as we feared it might bite us. This Leela reminds me of a beautiful experience that took place in the life of Swami Samarthar, says Ramanathan brother. Human beings possessing 6 senses taking refuge at the holy feet of the Supreme Masters may not be a startling incident, but it is amazing to note that the animals with 5 senses also recognize the compassion of the Supreme Masters and take shelter at their lotus feet. The divine power in the great masters draw these animals towards them. Once, Swami Samarthar was relaxing under a mango tree at the foot of the Himalayas. A fawn came running towards him and stood next to him as though it was seeking his help. Swami Samarthar smiled at it and blessed it by stroking lovingly. In no time, hunters reached there with guns in their hand to kill this fawn. They were not aware about the greatness of Swami Samarthar. Seeing the fawn being caressed by him, they told Swami Samarthar to let them hunt it, as it is their prey and hunting is their duty. Hence it is not a sin to kill and eat the fawn. They wanted Swami Samarthar to move away so that they can kill the fawn, whereas Swami Samarthar didn't budge to their threatening call. The hunters got furious and lifted their guns to shoot, but their body froze in that position. They stood like statues and realized that the one in front of them is a supreme being and begged his pardon for their folly. Swami Samarthar pardoned them and instructed them to be kind to the animals. This incident is quoted in the book that depicts the life stories of Sri Swami Samarthar. This Leela is parallel to the one related to the stray dog that was saved by Sri Sai Maharaj at Dwarakamai. As mentioned, Dr. Pillai was a doctor with a medical degree and served the patients at Shirdi for free of cost, was most kind-hearted. Once, Shirdi was afflicted with cholera epidemic. This is a most dreadful disease like plague, and people were dying in clusters. At that time, Sri Bapu Sahib Bhuti was in Shirdi and he was also stricken by cholera. He had severe loose motions, became dehydrated, his energy was completely drained out and was extremely tired. He was even unable to come to Dwarakamai for Sri Sai Baba's darshan. Dr. Pillai recommended allopathic medicines that would cure Bhuti's ailment. But nothing helped. So Dr. Pillai and Bhuti finally decided to submit this issue at the holy feet of Sri Sai Baba. Subsequently, Dr. Pillai brought Bhuti to Dwarakamai and spoke to Sri Sai Maharaj thus: Baba, please throw your compassionate glance at Bhuti. I have tried all medications, but it didn't help Bhuti's ailment. His loose motions and stomachache is severe, so please cure him. Sri Sai Maharaj in a calm tone said, Nothing to worry about that. Prepare a drink, which is a fusion of walnuts, almonds and pistachios to be grounded with sugar and add to milk. If he will drink this, he will be all right soon. Listening at this, both were surprised and looked at each other. Because if anyone suffering from diarrhea would drink a fusion of nuts with milk, it would only make the problem more severe and will not help to subside it. But devotees, the assertion of Sri Sai Maharaj is more important than the medicine itself. So, the cure is not from the drink prescribed by Sri Sai Maharaj, but the pronouncement, he will be all right soon, is the actual blessing to Bhuti. Every word pronounced by Sri Sai Maharaj is the assertion of the great Lord. Hence, that will come true. Dr. Pillai and Bhuti had unswerving faith upon Sri Sai Maharaj, so the drink containing mixture of nuts was prepared and consumed by Bhuti. To the surprise of all, the loose motion stopped and life of Bhuti was saved by Sri Sai Maharaj. Let's listen to another remarkable incident connected to Dr. Pillai. During the year 1912 to 1913, Sri Upasani Baba was residing in Shirdi. Devotees might recall that Sri Sai Baba had instructed him to stay in Shirdi for 4 years, as that will take him to the height of spirituality. Sri Sai Maharaj had great concern for Sri Upasani Baba. Many devotees thought that Sri Sai Maharaj had chosen Sri Upasani Baba as his disciple. But Sri Upasani Baba had no such desires. He was a great saint. Sri Sai Maharaj gauged his spiritual height very accurately, hence instructed him to do few practices that would elevate him to the highest spiritual stature. But few devotees didn't perceive the intentions of Sri Sai Maharaj in the right sense. Sri Sai Maharaj aimed to transform Sri Upasani Baba into a taintless gold. Unfortunately, Sri Upasani Baba couldn't complete this 4-year tenure at Shirdi as instructed by Sri Sai Maharaj because the situations in Shirdi were not conducive. The people of Shirdi had a misconception about Upasani Maharaj. They considered him as a secret agent of the British government sent to spy on Sri Sai Baba's activities. Few thought that Upasani Maharaj is eyeing on the day-to-day affairs of Sri Sai Maharaj to report it to the higher officials. Whereas he was a great saint. A book titled The Saint of Sakori, authored by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, elaborates in detail the position held by Sri Upasani Baba in the spiritual realm. It is so unfortunate that people had misunderstood him to be the spy of the Britishers. In addition to this, there lived a great devotee of Sri Sai Baba by named Nanavali. His behavior was indeed strange. He had hurt many close devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj. So many devotees, including Harivinayak Sate, would flee just by hearing his name. Nanavali created many problems to Sri Upasani Baba. This could also be taken as a severe test upon Sri Upasani Baba to testify his patience, devotion and faith upon Sri Sai Maharaj. Sri Upasani Baba couldn't bear the torture inflicted by Nanavali, and few devotees, thus he quit Shirdi without completing the 4-year spiritual practice. Moreover, during his stay in Shirdi, Sri Upasani Baba developed an intense fear of death. Though it is human tendency to feel anxious about death time to time, for Upasani Maharaj, it was a phobia that left him in panic mode every moment and that disrupted his spiritual practice. At this most crucial moment, introduction of Dr. Pillai was very helpful. Out of handful of devotees that were considerate to Sri Upasani Baba, Dr. Pillai was notable. While many were suspicious about the activities of Sri Upasani Baba, some of them realized his spiritual powers and Dr. Pillai was one among them. Upasani Baba was not provided with proper food. In fact, the Shirdi villagers used to ridicule by addressing him as Upavasini Baba, which means the one who is starving. His plight was very miserable. Devotees, even if we miss one meal in a day, we become restless. Whereas Upasani Baba had remained almost 1 month without any food. He was made to face severe hardships by Sri Sai Maharaj. Lack of food, torture by Nanavali, ridicule of the villagers, skeptical and arrogant behavior by the devotees made the situation intolerable for Upasani Baba. They even pelted him with stones. Young boys would throw all kinds of trash inside the room he stayed. They considered him as a madman. He endured all these tortures, but when it became insufferable, he left Shirdi. Whenever Upasani Baba was starving, Dr. Pillai would check his pulse and it would be too low, ranging from 20 to 40. His pulse might have become low as he wasn't eating. Still, the activities he performed with that pulse rate would be astounding. Once, a road roller was parked on the side of the road and Upasani Baba dragged that heavy machine just single-handedly despite starving for a month and with a poor pulse rate. Dr. Pillai was astounded at this sight and praises his extraordinary power. There is another stunning incident in this connection. Whenever Sri Upasani Baba was anxious about his death, Dr. Pillai would counsel and motivate him. Eventually, Sri Upasani Baba got dejected and left from Shirdi on 25/7/1914 at midnight. Dr. Pillai helped him to move out of Shirdi. Though Sri Upasani Maharaj left Shirdi, he wanted to strictly adhere to the instructions of Sri Sai Maharaj. Hence, he told Dr. Pillai, "I have been instructed by Sri Sai Maharaj to stay for 4 years and do my spiritual practices at Shirdi. But Owing to adverse circumstances, I am leaving Shirdi without completing the tenure fixed by Sri Sai Baba. But until the 4 years' time expires, wherever I may stay, I will be in Ajnana Vasam. That is, none should know who I am and where I am staying. This was the sankalpa made by Sri Upasani Baba. Also, he was certain that the omnipotent Sri Sai Maharaj must be aware that he is leaving Shirdi. He felt that it is Sri Sai Maharaj who is putting him to severe test every moment by making the villagers pelt him with stones, suspect him as the spy of the British government, make him starve for days. He was sure that all this cannot happen to him without the knowledge of Sri Sai Maharaj. He thought the omnipresent Sri Sai is making him to leave Shirdi now, hence he will not get upset with him for leaving Shirdi, but he was determined to honor Sri Sai Baba's decree to the maximum extent possible. Hence, he decided to complete the remaining period in Ajnana Vasam. Subsequently, he went to a place known as Shindi to stay in the house of Ganpat Rao, an ardent devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj and a close friend of Dr. Pillai. Then, Sri Upasani Baba stayed for 2 months at Nagpur in Dr. Pillai's home. From there, he went to Gorakhpur and stayed at Chinnaswamy Pillai's house, that is the brother of Dr. Pillai. Ramanathan brother is going to highlight the most significant events that took place in these 3 houses during the stay of Sri Upasani Baba. When Sri Upasani Baba came to Ganpat Rao's home, the family members requested Sri Upasani Baba to eat some food. As they were persistent, he ate food. Devotees can recall that he has not been eating any solid food for long time, and as he began to eat now, he got severe stomachache and that led to piles. Dr. Pillai and few other doctors examined him and suggested that surgery had to be performed. Sri Upasani Baba agreed to undergo the surgery, but under one condition, that being a saint, he will not take anesthesia. So, if the doctors are willing to perform the surgery without giving him anesthesia, then he is ready for procedure. Accordingly, they planned to do the operation, and on the day of the surgery, Sri Upasani Baba stood up, eyes closed. The doctor started the procedure and Sri Upasani Baba stood motionless as though he was in the state of samadhi. Until the entire procedure was completed, he stood calm and motionless. The doctors were stunned to see his control over his body. There was not even an expression on his face revealing pain or discomfort while the surgery was in process. As soon as the procedure was done, the surgeon lay prostrate at the divine feet of Sri Upasani Baba, marveling at his supreme power. After this, Sri Upasani Baba went to Nagpur to stay at Dr. Pillai's house, and what an incredible leela happened there shall be heeded in the coming episode. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.